what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the beef Wellington. While I'm doing that, I'm going to ask Dave to let you smell the dry marinade for the spiced beef. Spiced beef is typically a Cork dish where I come from. We would spice it maybe 2 weeks before Christmas in a brine, and you have the recipe for the brine, the sugar and the salt. You also have the rub that you would rub into it, okay? It's this, when I worked abroad, my mom was a chef. When you'd come home and you'd smell this, you really, really knew it was Christmas. So Dave might pass that around and you can smell it. I have mixed all the ingredients that you have there, the dry ingredients, bar the salt and bar the sugar, okay? So if you just smell that, and you'll get an idea of what's rubbed into the meat, okay? The brine, that's basically the brine after the meat is soaked inside in it, okay? Tenderloin, or fillet, whole fillet. You've got a piece of meat here that attaches it to the spinal bone. That's called the chain, okay? You have to take that off, and you have to take the elastin off the top of it, okay? So with a very sharp boning knife, just start stripping down from the top to the bottom, okay? Again, if you're afraid of doing this, ask your butcher to do it. A lot of this you can pull with your hand. It's just fat, but you have to get it off. These are basically where we would cut our fillet steaks from, okay? You have a Chateaubriand here. You have your mid. These are the best fillet steaks you'll get. Mid steak fillet steaks, okay? These are tournedours, which you use for medallions or anything like that, okay? So I'm just splitting the chain. The chain is very good if you want to use it in a stew or something like that. It's a very fast stewing meat because it's obviously the fillet or the tenderloin, which doesn't get a whole lot of exercise. There is a bit of elastin in it, so you don't really want to keep it in this dish. It's a lot of meat to take off it, but that is exactly where it's connected to the spine bone, okay? As I said, take the sinew off the top. If it's a case in question you've gone too far, we'll say like that, just scrape the meat off the sinew, okay? Don't waste the meat, because that is of no benefit to you or to any dish. Okay, just go at the back of it. You don't want to take the whole lot of the fat off because you need to baste it. You'll always have a piece up here at the Chateaubriand. You have to get that off. And traditionally, we would, I suppose, in Europe, we would eat a lot more beef at Christmas. Beef and goose really is what we would eat. But I think this is a really, really, really special dinner. Lads, this is about 79 bucks, okay? So it's, you know, it's not cheap. You don't want to mess it up. Okay, so we've cleaned. We can take one more piece here. So what you want to do at that stage is butterfly it. And you're butterflying it to make it duxelle. I'm doing this in reverse orders because I need to get it into the oven so it's cooked for you, okay? I'll show you what a duxelle is in a minute. But basically a duxelle is sauteed onions, mushrooms, garlic, and whatever flavors you want. If you want thyme, tarragon, tarragon is a bit overpowering from it, but thyme, maybe a small bit of oregano or something like that. To butterfly, you need a sharp knife. You can't puncture the fillet, okay? You got to go from Chateaubriand to tail, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go in, keep your hand, okay, to the side of it. Go back in towards it again as if you're going in a circle, okay? If you puncture it, your filling is going to come out. And if, at this stage, if your filling comes out with what you're doing with this, you're wrapping it in with pastry and bacon, it'll leak and it'll burn the pastry underneath. Okay, so we've literally just butterflied it there. Okay, we're going to go this side, same thing again, top, along, mind your hands, make sure you don't puncture it because you'll take the skin off your hands. Down again into a circle. And you're leaving a spine in the middle of the meat, okay? Into the Chateaubriand. Straight down, okay? You need to leave that spine in it to make sure it's evenly cooked, okay? To wrap it, use a cloth, okay? Clean tea towel. Bacon. And go fat to meat, fat to meat, fat to meat. I don't need them oil, just 2 minutes. So if you go fat to meat, you're getting evenly dispersed. The bacon isn't going to go crispy on you. You don't want crispy bacon in this. And make sure you got the skinny side filling up the fat side. So you're going reverse, if you know what I'm saying. I'm saying this is the fat side, this is the skinny side, so I'm putting the skinny side on a fat side so it's completely covered. You can also use prosciutto ham, Parma ham, Sorrento ham, anything like that. We traditionally would use Parma ham, but I absolutely love the bacon here. I think the bacon is fantastic. And this is just a fillet is so delicate that you're basically trying to protect it. And it's a dish typically that should be cooked rare. Okay, so lining it up. Seasoning is all important in it, as it is in all cooking, but it's vitally important in this dish because it's a big lump of meat, okay? But as I said earlier on, guys, don't be afraid. Play around. You know, if it's something you like, change it and whatever. And okay. With your fillet, lay it on to your laid out bacon. Okay. I'll take one more set. One more slice of bacon, please. I have a duxelle made here because it's, again, as I said the last time, I don't know if a lot of you were here, you do not put hot food into cold food. It is vitally, vitally important that everything is cold when you're stuffing stuff. Stuffing any, whether it's poultry, meat, fish, whatever, you do not put hot stuffing into anything. Okay, we season. And don't be afraid of seasoning. Salt is good for you. I keep on telling you that. People keep telling me it's bad, but I don't believe them.
And this is also our house seasoning where it's a mixture of salt and pepper. So it's not just salt that you're seeing on there.
What's the ratio of salt and pepper?
We can't give you all those kinds of details.
Okay, spread the duxelle. Duxelle, as I said to you, is basically mushrooms, onions, and herbs cooked in butter, salted butter, okay? Let it reduce away down, get the juice at the end of it, strain it, and get the juice and reduce it down again to a glacé. A glacé is like cappuccino, or sorry, like an espresso. It's just a glaze. Add that back into it, because that's where all the flavoring is, okay? Traditionally, you would now put foie gras onto it, okay? I love you, but you ain't getting foie gras. Foie gras is far, far, far too expensive, and it's not to everybody's taste. But what I will do for this one, right, just to show you how you can move away from the standard, is goat's cheese, okay? So we'll just put a bit of goat's cheese along.
And you put that on both sides of the fillet, though, right?
Right down the spine of the fillet where I left the spine in the middle, okay? Again, if you don't like goat's cheese, leave it out. Put something else in. I'm also putting a raw spinach, okay? And
Is that a local goat cheese?
No, it's not actually. It's not, because we're actually finding it very hard at the moment to get a USDA approved, I suppose, breeder of goats that we can get them slaughtered and use them. But we are looking into starting it. Well, Diana's looking into starting it herself, and hopefully we would. Well, it won't be. Hopefully, it will happen. Okay, guys. So we got a fillet. It's ready to be rolled, okay? So basically bring your lap over. Bring the Chateaubriand over to a degree, and then bring over the other lap, all right? And lap the meat over. The idea of the bacon is that it will hold the whole thing together and protect it, as I said, from overcooking, okay? Spinach falls out, put it back in. Duxelle falls out, put it back in. All right? And get it back to the shape that it was. All right? Okay. Start wrapping from the tail up. I might, well, I will. I know I will. I'll run over time, lads, and I apologize. But there's a lot to do in this class. So you're getting value for your money.
Now, is there a reason why you want to make sure that it was at the original shape? Is it for cooking, to make sure it cooks evenly?
No, it's the surprise element, really, that you're cooking a whole fillet. It's gone back to its original shape. It's stuffed. It's in puff pastry, or it's in whatever pastry you want. If you want chalk crust, put chalk crust in it. Puff. But it's just a lot of these were used. I suppose we use them for buffets and stuff like that. A lot of use for very, very fine dining. They were carved at the table. You would make maybe a beef Wellington for 2 people, and they were carved at the table. It's the element of just surprising people what's inside in the middle of it. It doesn't have to be exactly what it says in some of the books. You can put in what you want. So a lot of it is down to surprise and presentation and that. Okay? The cloth is basically just to mold it. Okay, guys? It's the same as if you were doing a galantine or a ballantine with the turkey we did the last day. It's just to mold it. And it's easier to lift it. We use this, guys, egg wash. It's whipped egg whites. And we put it in the bottle and we spray it for the breads and all that, okay? So it's just whipped egg whites inside in the bottle. Just tuck the tail in, push the Chateaubriand in, bring it over, again stretch it over here, and when you get to here, give it a wheel. Egg wash it. Just trim the excess so as you don't have. No, no, good. Okay. At this stage, you'd leave that inside in the fridge maybe for a few hours and leave it relax. Okay? What I'm going to do, we have one in the oven and we'll put this in the oven. Go. Egg wash. And just crimp the edges, guys, with your fingers, okay? You put the two of them in, yeah. Okay, with the spiced beef, I just want to show them. I want to explain to you what the idea of it is, okay? You can see the rub that I just showed you, I've rubbed it into it. I left it in a dry state for 2 days, and then I put it into the brine. And any of the rub that was left over, I put it back into the brine, okay? This is sirloin, okay? You can use brisket, belly, anything like that. This is absolutely fantastic at Christmas for sandwiches the next day, or if you're having people over, you can. It's case in question with sirloin, you can actually cut it into steaks and do spiced sirloin steaks, okay? You'll taste it in a minute. I think it's a fantastic dish, but it's something that, as I said, we were brought up with. Okay. I brined it for 4 days. 4 days. I dried it and then I brined it. Put it into steamer. I'm going to steam this, guys, okay? We normally poach it, so I'm going to steam it, okay?
I think of brine beef in Ireland, I think of corned beef. How does that go?
Well, corn is just salt, saltpeter. That's spiced.
So this is essentially corned beef.
Well, they're 100 miles apart. Corned beef wouldn't be, it really wouldn't come anywhere near it, you know? This is a totally different flavor. It's got a cinnamon, 5-spice flavor. Corn is just salt and sugar in a brine, and it turns into a pink meat and can become very stringy if you don't have the right cut of meat. And there's nothing worse than a stringy bit of corned beef. The chuck, we call it chuck, is the best part for a spiced beef, or for corned beef, sorry. But people use brisket, and brisket is the wrong thing. Brisket is a stringy meat. You actually need to pulverize it afterwards, and that's not what corned beef is about. Corned beef is you should be able to slice it, 2 slices, cabbage, white wine and onion sauce, but they seem to use the wrong cuts of meat.
They usually it's brisket.
It's brisket, yeah. Brisket is the wrong cut, though. Brisket is far too stringy. Did you? These are Dave's plates. So whatever you do, don't break them. Well, what, you better not break them. You break them, you're all barred. You opened it? Unbelievable. Okay, guys. Here goes. All right. So you get If you don't want to cook this way, you can go a bit longer, but this is the way we... Yeah? Again, you can, listen, I'm only doing it the way I want to do it. You can do it your way, but it's basically, it's something you should enjoy, you know, and be proud of it when you do it. There's a lot of work goes into it, and it will look fantastic. I do prep. Hmm? And this is basically a medley, just throw them down there. A medley of beef. Let's get another yellow block. Wow. I live Dave today.
The question was, will we be open for Thanksgiving? The answer is yes. We'll be open from 11 till 2, and then after 2, our staff will go home and be with their families.
Dave, have you decided if it's going to be a buffet or a stand-alone menu, or?
It's Thanksgiving. Be thankful we're open.
It'll be Dairy Queen.
We haven't actually gotten those details ironed out yet, and especially with this course and next week's course, we've actually got quite a few things in the fire, as well as getting the darts room open and ready for Christmas parties and Thanksgiving dinner. So we will be posting that on Facebook, as well as if we've got your email, we may be sending.
It'll be all good anyway, guys. So don't, we look after you. It'll be all good.
And we will have pints. Lots of pints.
It won't be milkshakes or anything like that. Oh, chef. That's fine. Chef's about to have a breakdown. Pardon? Never relax. Only on a Sunday and Monday. Yeah, so Quinella there. Go to it.
For those of you who've been here before, do you know what he's doing right now? Do you remember what he's making it? Do you remember what it's called? Quenelle?
How many were here before? How many people were here before at cookie classes? Why aren't you studying?
Didn't know there'd be pop questions on the third one, did ya? Santa's not coming this year.
For me,